Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 1% Better podcast with your host, Josh Williams. We're all having a fantastic week, enjoying the day. I know here it's been quite warm, but it has not stopped me from getting outside. As many of y'all might know or not know, I've decided this year to train for a marathon. And if you don't know, I do not enjoy running. For cardio, I typically enjoy things like hiking. Now, when I say enjoy, I think I'm pretty relatable to a lot of clients. Is I uh, I enjoy the top. So typically in hiking, it's just getting up to the top and being like, "Huh, that's pretty." And then on the way back, it's just me not wanting to be in nature anymore. And my journey with my marathon is kind of similar. And so, some people ask like, why do you do this? And it's a lot of that the mindset stuff we kind of talk about. It's doing stuff hard, it's doing stuff that's challenging, and that's where kind of the satisfaction comes from. And so this past week, I completed a half marathon distance in my training, which is quite the feat. And my running coach was like, "Hey, it's a really big moment." And I texted him back saying, in hindsight, like I could have been completely happy never running this distance. And it brought me no joy or happiness. And I was talking to one of my other coaches, Tati, who's a big runner. And I said something like, yeah, this brought me no happiness. And she said, well, no one ever said running will make you happy. And I said, well, and then I was like, well, that is correct. No one ever did say that. And so today I wanted to talk about the long haul, the messy middle of the fitness journey. And this is where most people quit, is in the middle. I remember when I was doing research back in college about the Appalachian Trail. I can't remember what the percentage is, but the majority of the people. So, if you don't know, the Appalachian Trail starts. I believe it's. I want to say it's Mount Snow. That could be completely wrong, but it starts down in. Oh my goodness! All this research. Not Alabama, Georgia, and it goes all the way up to Maine. And most people don't make it out of Georgia. They get started there, and they stop. And so that's why I love the analogy of the journey, because some of us, we just get started. Like the idea is so exciting that it gets us to the starting place to start the journey. But then that if it's all it is excitement in this fantasy of the end, there's hundreds of miles of distance in between the start and the finish. And when we're doing this kind of fitness for life and things like that, ideally there is no end game. The end game is the end. Um, when we're kind of looking at these things, and so so I'm doing for my marathon training. I'm at the point where I'm about 8 to 10 weeks out, and you know I'm gonna complete it. I set some things up in my life to get me to complete it, which we'll kind of talk about today. How you can do that with your fitness journey, and understanding the fitness journey is made up of a bunch of little things. Like, so this marathon training for me is a little bit of a blip or distraction in the long line of the total fitness journey. What the goal is to maintain strength, to maintain a healthy body fat percentage, lean body mass percentage, and a cardiovascular to be able to do the things that I want to do. And also, of course, mobility plays in that as well. And so the first phase of our journey is the honeymoon phase. We have this idea, we have this vision, and we're thinking about the end, like how good it's going to feel to complete that. So with my marathon training, it's like I completed something really hard. I can look back on this and know that I did that. Part of it was like, well, it's going to force me to improve my cardiovascular health. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to, maybe lose some body fat percentage. These kind of things. So that's like, okay, awesome. I'm excited about this getting started. And as we get started, things come pretty easily. You notice strength improvements. You might notice your energy is getting better. That you can do more. You feel better. All that stuff. It's like, man, I can see the end. It's gonna be so quick, so easy. And there is this kind of natural drop off when that newness wears away, or you hit that like, oh, this is going to take longer than I thought, or oh, this is going to be harder than I thought. You start learning more about what it takes. You start learning more about all the routines, the prep, all the little things that go into it being successful. And it's like, oh, it could be so much easier to go back to what I was doing before. And so then it becomes, in some ways, this battle. And so motivation, the novelty, the excitement, that's great. That's the catalyst to get us started on our journey. We have to understand there is always this middle. Um, and it's you call it the messy middle, the grind. It's this place where you get a better understanding of what it takes. You've been in it. And the quick wins have worn off. And so for me in running, it's improving distances. For lifting, a lot of times it's that quick build of strength and feeling better. And so what can kind of set in is the repetition, the boredom, the results can slow, and then also life gets in the way. As we get in better shape, the error drops in being successful. So kind of like my marathon running, the goal is to run 26.2 miles. You have to train that. And so I'm at the point now where my long run, takes 2.5 hours or more. And it's working that into a schedule, running a business, being there for my team, being there for my family, all those things, and carving out, okay, one, I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm committed to doing it. And how do I carve out the time? And that can happen too in life. Things pop up and it makes it difficult. And so that's why we really kind of preach the 1% better. The mindset shift during this messy middle is doing the work. It's showing up to the gym, as we say. It's continuing to plan your weeks or planning your meals if maybe it's more nutrition. It's, in this running, it's my coach scheduled the run. I'm going to do the run. It might not be good. I might not be excited to do it. It's scheduled. I'm going to do it. And you're really during this is stacking workouts, stacking reps. Very similar. If we stop doing the reps, we're not going to get the results. We're going to stop progressing. And so it is getting in that rhythm, beating that drum, and continuing to work towards that. And so a couple of different tools or things that can help you with this is, I think, one, understanding that you can't skip this phase. It's not something you can skip. There's a bunch of different things that you can do to make it more enjoyable or easy. And one of the big ones is we can't rely on motivation anymore at this stage. Motivation is not going to get us to the end line. It's really building system, structures, and community that will help you with that. So using my marathon training as a goal, I have built the system in the sense of, or the structure. I have the support through my coach who's giving me the workouts. So I show up and I do that, and he's going to know if I do them or not. I also have a community of people I can talk to or relate to going through this as well. That keeps me motivated and gives me perspective. People that have already been there and can encourage me along the way. Letting people know about your goals, so you're not doing it in a vacuum. And so that, if we let people know, not necessarily letting them down, but you've told somebody and they're going to know if you stop doing it or not. And so really developing that systems and structures. And it's going to take, typically where I see people, failing is when they stop planning. You need to schedule things out. A lot of times I think I can get away with not planning my week or planning my day. And I get confident thinking like, oh, I know what I need to do today. I don't need to plan it. But the rhythm of each night, looking back at what you got done and then looking at the next day and planning out, hour by hour, what's going to happen is such a huge rhythm. And a lot of times life can be crazy, but just taking that, it doesn't take a long time, 10, 15 minutes at the end of the day, and building that rhythm of just planning the next day goes a long way of, okay, where am I going to do my workout, or where am I going to do my meal prep, or what am I eating for meals tomorrow? and just having that rough plan in place and really focusing on what are the key things to move me forward in my goal and hitting those things. So whether motivation or not, this was on my list to do. I'm going to check it off because that's what I need to do to progress on this. And that could be scheduling my workouts. I have a workout today. I'm going to do the workout regardless if I'm motivated to do it or not. I have a run today. Today I have a 14-mile run today. I am not looking forward to it at all. And so I feel it with people. Most days I am not motivated to run. I'm not motivated to work out, but I schedule it. I told myself I was going to do it. I wrote it down. I'm going to do it. And so it's building that system. Then it is the accountability. And so that's one of the things at Sperling. You have a coach. We know when you're not showing up and doing that. It's building that community, like-minded people working on the same thing, being around that, getting you excited, seeing other people accomplish goals, getting excited, and being like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there someday. And then it's really getting into different reframings of constantly looking back, saying, "Oh, this is where I started from. This is where I'm at," and appreciating that. Looking forward, but not too far forward. It really should just be what's the next step. And for most of us, the next step is the next workout, the next meal prep, the next whatever. And so it's getting really good. I just kind of say beating that drum, one workout, one planning session after another, and almost enjoying that rhythmic beat as we go through. And then, so really the biggest practical takeaway I would say during this messy middle is we really need to understand that motivation is not going to take us there. It's the systems and the structures that you set up during this to keep you going regardless. And the number one thing I would say, and if you don't have it, is start planning. Plan your week. On Sundays, sit down, plan the entire week, put in your most important things. So for me, it's typically, what's the one thing I need to get done today, for my coaches or the business? When am I working out this week? Scheduling those in. Also it's like, what are we doing for meal prep? So me and my wife will sit down. What each day are we doing for meal prep? What are our responsibilities? Pick up, drop off for the kids, all that stuff, scheduling it out, and then we're reassessing that, each night because again, the day doesn't always go as planned, but it's reassessing. Okay, I missed this. I need to move it here and get this done. Doing that is so huge and just makes your life so less chaotic, and especially with goals as well. That's probably the number one thing I would say is just start planning, and not just letting things happen by chance or by sheer motivation. And so this is where the middle is. And then the reality is the end goal, the accomplishment is short-lived. So when you hit it, it's back to beating the drum. It's back to getting to working out. You had that moment. I know I will be so relieved come, I think it's October 5th, when I am done. And it's weird. It'll be more of a relief than probably excitement. So on my personal goal, but on the fitness journey, it is hitting the drum. It's been very repetitive, I would say, on this, but understanding the beginning, the excitement will not take you through the messy middle. The messy middle, we need to build systems, we need to schedule, we need to have accountability, and we need to have the ability to reframe our mindset throughout this. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you need help at all, that's what we're here for at Sperling, is providing the system, the structure, the accountability to help you succeed, especially if your goals are, getting stronger, more mobile, increasing that endurance so that you can live life to the fullest. And if you're not a Sperling member, feel free to reach out to us at info@sperlingfitness.com. And if you are a member listening, we appreciate you so much. Can't wait to see you all this week, getting to work with you, continuing to get 1% better, beating that drum, showing up when it's hard, and getting those amazing results so we can hear those amazing stories, such as being able to play with your grandkids, going on a hike that you weren't able to do, if your legs weren't shaky after your first run of the ski season, all those wonderful things that get us excited and the reason why we do what we do. So I hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you're listening. Car, walk, run, maybe a workout. Have a great day.